When my fiancée came to break off the engagement, she unexpectedly heard my inner thoughts. Ziz really deserves to be the female lead. She has a very sleep-worthy face. For a moment, the living room fell into a terrifying silence. Why is no one speaking? I get it. You're all waiting for my performance, right? Father and Mother Zhao looked stunned. What performance? The next second, they saw me suddenly pull Su Wanli into my arms. Then I lowered my head and hugged Sister Wanli. You came to see me, didn't you? I knew it. Sister Wanli is the one who cares about me most. I love you so much. Su Wanli froze in place. A voice clearly sounded in her ears. Damn, do I really have to stick to this character setting? But Su Wanli hates being touched the most. And I'm holding her like this. She must hate it even more, right? Hey. Everyone in the living room who heard my thoughts fell silent. The Zhao family looked at me with complicated expressions. On the other side, I kept my bent posture for several seconds. My old back even started to ache. But Su Wanli still didn't push me away. What does this little girl mean? Why isn't she pushing me away? Didn't she hate me in the plot? Didn't she dislike being touched by me? When I touched her, it was like she got dirt on her. She'd washed for 3 days and 3 nights, seeing no reaction from her. To maintain my character as a love-struck fool, I had no choice but to keep hugging Su Wanli. Sister Wanli, I miss you so much. Missing you makes my heart ache. Why is the Zizhao family still silent? Shouldn't they be scolding me for being shameless? I secretly braced myself, and my hand couldn't help but touch Su Wanli's waist, looking at her with deep affection. His Tilda Ha. Nice figure. Feels so soft to the touch. Song Jinian is such a lucky guy. I remember there was a scene about drugging someone. Should I take the opportunity to? Might as well enjoy it first. The next moment, Su Wanli suddenly shoved me away. I took the chance to fall onto the ground. Clutching my cast-covered hand, I instantly howled in pain. Ouch, it hurts. Zhao Qingyun's eye twitched slightly. Suddenly, the doctor's words from that night flashed in her mind. She subconsciously looked at my hand in a cast. The next second, she heard my inner voice again. If I pass out right now, can I get 10 or 20 grand in medical fees? No, that's too little. That amount of money doesn't match her status as the Su family heiress. At least it should be as much as Shu Qi's endorsement fee. Su Wanli calmly looked at Zhao Yichen sitting on the floor. Internally, she was quickly processing the fact she could hear his inner voice. Just then, he looked up, sweeping a glance with hidden meaning at the Zhao family sitting on the couch. Their faces showed no reaction at all. Could it be that only he can hear my inner voice? Why is that? Why is Su Wanli just staring at me without speaking? Wasn't she here to break off the engagement? Is this plot going to progress or not? If the breakup doesn't happen soon, old Madame Su will have to be hospitalized. A flicker of thought passed Su Wanli's eyes. She said coolly, "Get up first." Lying on the floor, I replied weakly, "Only if Sister Wanli hugs me." Surely he's going to blow up now, right? Su Wanli suddenly had the feeling of shooting herself in the foot. She gave a fake cough and said, "Men and women should keep their distance. You better get up yourself." I scoffed disdainfully. Now you say men and women should keep distance from each other? In the plot, you and Song Jinian aren't even married, yet you already shared a bed like that. The rural relatives on the couch could hardly hold it in anymore. Is this something they should be hearing? All right then, I understand, Sister Wanli. As I spoke, I got up on my own. Su Wanli slightly parted her red lips, just about to speak, when suddenly the ringtone of a phone interrupted her words. I raised an eyebrow subtly. That should be the call informing him that old Madame Su was admitted to the hospital. Unlucky in her old age, that lady. At such an age, still worrying over a massive family business. Su Wanli's little tree, a lurking predator. The maid placed at the old lady's side drugged her daily. In the end, she died of a sudden heart attack. A flicker of darkness quickly flashed in Su Wanli's eyes. Her hand clutching the phone suddenly tightened, but she still forced herself to suppress her emotions. She picked up the phone. "Uncle Joe, what happened?" "Zhao Li, come quickly to the hospital." The old madam suddenly fainted. Su Wanli's chest tightened slightly. She hastily responded with a "got it," then hung up and left in a rush. Only I stood in place with an amused expression. She just left. What about the breakup plot? It's ruined. As Su Wanli was leaving, she gave me a meaningful look. Seeing that, I immediately showed a worried expression. But Su Wanli said nothing, leaving me questioning my existence. After Zhao Qingyun sent Su Wanli off, I finally turned back to look at Father and Mother Zhao on the couch. Father Zhao hurriedly picked up the newspaper. Mother Zhao picked up her teacup and sipped. Reading the paper again? Better enjoy it while you can. Soon, old man Zhao will be checking into the ICU. And in the end, someone will pull out his oxygen tube. He'll be suffocated to death. What a pity. Father Zhao's heart skipped a beat. Even Mother Zhao's hand holding the cup froze. Tea spilled out. I looked at Mom with concern. Is your tea too hot, Mom? Go on, drink up, drink more. Soon you'll only be able to scavenge in trash piles for food. Mother Zhao's forehead was full of question marks, and just as Zhao Qingyun returned from sending someone off, barely stepping into the house, she was greeted by her little brothers, schadenfreude-laced voice, especially my big sister. In the end she actually, and then, why didn't you keep talking? Don't know. Saying half a sentence is torture. The three people in the living room stared straight at me. Each of them was itching with curiosity. They were dying to ask me directly. I went straight to the dining room for breakfast, to keep hearing my inner thoughts. Father and Mother Zhao, who had already eaten, followed along, while I was happily enjoying the food at the table. I heard Father Zhao suddenly say, Qingyun, ask your other sisters later. When are they coming back? All of them are hardly ever home, those daughters. Zhao Qingyun slowly replied. Ruoyo has finished her training. She should be back from overseas in the next couple of days. Are they talking about my second sister, Zhao Ruoyo? I secretly looked through some information about her. Such a pity for my scholarly second sister. First, she was falsely accused of plagiarism, then got caught up in a student suicide incident and ruined her future. In the end, she developed depression and overdosed. By the time she was discovered, her body had already decomposed. Father and Mother Zhao's eyes were filled with rage. Zhao Qingyun looked at me meaningfully as I lowered my head and continued eating. Then she continued. Jingyi is currently working on a serial killer case. She probably doesn't have time to come back. I pretended to be uninterested and took a sip of milk. Zhao Jingyi, huh? That one's truly terrifying. Last time she locked the original host in the basement. Almost gave me lifelong trauma. Who would have thought? She's now the most promising young talent in everyone's eyes. A highly capable forensic scientist who ended up dissecting her own father, sister, and brother. After the trauma, she turned to crime herself, and even turned herself into the police. Serves Father and Mother Zhao right. Both of them suddenly gripped their chopsticks tightly, trying hard to keep their emotions in check. Zhao Qingyun lowered her gaze. Her hand on the table had already slightly clenched. Then she said, I just joined a production crew. Last time she told me, they're filming on location deep in the mountains. She probably doesn't have time either. Suddenly, everyone heard my inner voice. My fourth sister is the most miserable of all. After the Zhao family went bankrupt, her resources in the entertainment industry plummeted. She was maliciously targeted and became the talk of the town. In the end, she caught the eye of a twisted big shot. He locked her up and treated her like a pet. By the time she was found, she had already gone insane. And that twisted big shot was the investor behind this hurricane project. Zhao Yuning is his next target. Oh my God, no one in this family ends well. What kind of karma is this? How many sins have they committed? Hearing this, Father and Mother Zhao's faces involuntarily twitched. Is their family really this tragic? Afraid I might notice something, the two of them tried to maintain composure. Chun, eat slowly. Mom and Dad have work to do. We won't be keeping you company. Before leaving, the two elders gave Zhao Qingyun a meaningful look. After they left, Zhao Qingyun still sat there, gazing straight at me from across the table, trying to see if I'd reveal anything more. But after a while, I finished eating and got up. I said I was going to the hospital for a follow-up and left. Watching my cheerful back as I left, Zhao Jinyan revealed a meaningful smile. It's okay, she can take her time. She must dig out all my secrets with her own hands. On the way to the hospital, I lazily lounged in the back seat. I started seriously reviewing my mission progress. As soon as I opened the task page, I smiled in satisfaction at the stats in front of me. Very good. Lianshan has already cleared half the path from me. Returning to Langshan with 30 billion is just around the corner. But as I scrolled further down, I suddenly froze. What the hell, old Madame Su's favorability is at 100%. What the actual heck, Lin? What's going on with old Madame Su? Her favorability maxed out just like that. Old Madame Su just really likes Zhao Yichen. Otherwise, why would she want him as her grandson-in-law? I think the system makes a good point, but the problem is, the original host did so many outrageous things. He turned both the Zhao and Su families into a joke in the capital, and she doesn't mind at all. Host, do you want to change your strategy for old Madame Su? Boost her favorability? Come on, do I look like someone likable to you? I rejected the system's suggestion and immediately logged it off. A mischievous grin appeared on my face. If I remember correctly, the male lead is supposed to visit old Madame Su at the hospital. Getting there early isn't as good as showing up at the right time. I'm definitely joining this drama. Soon I'll make Su Wanli and her white moonlight sick of me. I'll be the wedge between them. And boost my image in front of the old madam. 3 birds with 1 stone. Wahoo! When I found old Madame Su's hospital room, Su Wanli was sitting by the bed peeling fruit. And the original book's male lead, Song Jing, was standing beside her. My eyes lit up instantly. I was itching to charge in. Male and female lead alone. If I barge in now and disturb them, they'll definitely hate me even more. A familiar voice reached Su Wanli's ears, making her pause in her fruit peeling. I lifted my head and looked at the bodyguard blocking the doorway from letting me in. I flashed him a dazzling smile. The bodyguard's scalp tightened. The next second, I screamed at the top of my lungs, "Wanli, save me. They're trying to kill me." The bodyguard's pupils shrank in shock. Everyone in the room turned their heads to look. The terrified bodyguard backed 3 meters away from me, clearly full of resistance. "It's not me. I didn't do anything. Mr. Zhao, don't falsely accuse a good person." I let out a mocking laugh. "You treated me like a monster and wouldn't let me in. Now take this." Throwing a false accusation in return. Half reclined in bed, old Madame Su showed a faint smile on her face. She waved at me. "Oh, it's Zhao Chun." "Coming quickly," she said. I strutted in confidently, not forgetting to raise my eyebrows proudly at them. Inside the room, Song Jingnian was holding a glass of water. He was very close to Su Wanli. The two of them looked extremely intimate. Song Jingnian looked at me gently from 4 feet away. He greeted me warmly. "Bicken is here. Come sit over here." That tone of his, as if he was the one in charge of the whole room. I glanced at the place Song Jingnian pointed to. It was the designated visitor seating area, a rest area for guests, a bit far from Su Wanli and the old madam. "I'll sit wherever I want. Who are you to tell me? This isn't your house." Still, I secretly thought with how rude I was just now. Su Wanli and the old madam must be annoyed, right? Time to stir things up. Su Wanli stayed silent, listening to this man's inner thoughts. How can someone be so two-faced? Unaware of what Su Wanli was thinking, I marched right over. I wedged myself between Song Jingnian and Su Wanli. Then I glared sharply at Song Jingnian. "Wanli is my fiancé now. Can you keep your distance from someone who's taken?" The original host used to do the same. As long as any man came within half a meter of Su Wanli, he saw them all as enemies. Because of this, Su Wanli developed a deep dislike for that behavior. Caught off guard, Song Jingnian was pushed aside, and some of the water in his hand spilled. He nearly couldn't hold his smile. He glanced over at Su Wanli, but saw that Su Wanli, who used to hate me, wasn't rejecting my closeness now. A hint of disappointment flashed through Song Jingnian's eyes. He forced a smile and said, "Bicken, you misunderstood. I only see Su Wanli as a friend." "Friend?" I snorted. "First a friend, then a sister. And finally she becomes your little darling, right?" As I spoke, I snuck a peek at Su Wanli. "I mean, come on. After all this, how is she still holding it in? Hurry up and scold me already. Or kick me out already." Song Jingnian clearly wasn't seeing this level of stubbornness for the first time. He had witnessed my unreasonable antics before, but in front of old Madame Su, he didn't know what to say for a moment. He could only look to Su Wanli for help. But Su Wanli was still seriously peeling the apple, as if she was carving a flower on it. Song Jingnian felt even more dejected. His face showed a bit of embarrassment. "So, what do I have to do to make Yichen happy?" I said with a grumpy face. "Just seeing you ruins my mood. If you had any self-awareness, you should hide when you see me. Don't be an eyesore." As I said that, I kept glancing over at Su Wanli and old Madame Su. Hey big sis. How can you still be in the mood to peel apples? Your man is about to be scolded into depression by me. Forget the apple. Why not peel me instead? Su Wanli's forehead was full of black lines. She said nothing, silently slicing the apple she'd just peeled in half and handed it to old Madame Su. Seeing that, I instantly had an epiphany. Su Wanli remained silent, probably because she didn't dare defend Song Jingyan in front of the old madam. She could only protect him this way. Another day, moved by the love of the male and female leads,